Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games and a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2017. We are in the 2022-2023 season now, and in this reimagining of the NCAA, it is set up as a promotion relegation system with 23 divisions top to bottom. It's labeled by letters. So the 23rd division was Conference V. We're now in Conference U. We've moved up one division. This is actually the second time we've played in Conference U. If you look at this, our season recap, our first year we were just 8-19 after bringing in a few recruits. We almost got to 500, and in our third year we were 18-11, and were promoted to Conference U. But the next year we finished at 13-14. We struggled. That overall record didn't show how badly we struggled in conference, where we had a really, really tough schedule to start the season. And we ended up just dropping back down. We rubber banded back down to Conference V, where we went 19-13, won the conference tournament, the league title, and then went to the NCAA tournament for the first time in our team's history. We had a play-in game as a 16 seed, which we won, and then lost in the first round. It's now the following season, and we're off to a pretty solid start. We are 11-4 right now, 3-1 in conference. We just experienced our first loss on the road at Seattle U, who apparently are our nemesis. We are 0-4 all time against them at this point. Next up, Central Connecticut State. Taking a quick look, Seattle is on top of the conference so far, but we are right there near the top with them at this point in time. In terms of overall win-loss record, we have the best conference record right now with those 11 wins. We are 7-0 at home. We are 4-4 on the road thus far. Our recruiting is pretty much right where we left off last time. It's been a period of evaluation the last 3-4 weeks, and so there has been no change. We have all the information on the players left. We have just a couple of guys who are on the lower end of interest, but everybody's got moderate interest. The only junior college player on the list is somebody who has given us a verbal agreement, Chad Williams, who is a pretty strong player coming in and in the top 100 recruits in the country, even this late in the season in the recruiting class. And he's picked us. In addition to him, we have Gerard Feltz and Robert Armstrong, all set to come play for us next season. Right now, Marcelo Lee, we continue to be number 4 on his list, but we're going to give it a little bit of time once we get past this evaluation period and actually get to go for some visits. If he doesn't sign for us in the short term, we are going to turn our focus to possibly Gordon here, who's the only of all the centers, the only one who is a B, even though he is a bit lower in the rankings. He is a capable scorer, capable defender, and even though Earl is ranked as a higher recruit, we got more going on. But he's a strong defender at B, so maybe I would go after Earl. And I like that 3.9 GPA that he has. Gordon's got a 3.6 though too, so both of those guys are pretty solid. There's a chance that we're going to lose one of the recruits, Armstrong. He's only got a 2.2 GPA, and we have a 960 requirement on the SAT, which is coming up here in the next week or two, so we'll find out here real soon. But our budget is just about gone, so there's not a lot going on recruiting-wise anymore for us. All right, so we're going to watch the Central Connecticut State game here in just a moment. It's on the 18th, so we got a couple days to sim through here. One more. At this point in time, Isaac Kidd is bagging nearly 18 points a game at this point. Let's see this one. Central Connecticut State is just 4-11. Aki Collins is now up over 5 assists a game. Marcus Lowe is still getting about 6 rebounds per game. And Isaac Kidd is our leading defensive star. All right, and here we go. We're going to step into the game. We are heavy favorites today. We are not only the better win-loss record by far, but we are the home team today, where so far this season we've been perfect. All right, we get off to a quick start, but we do slow down after. And the scores have been pretty balanced here so far for the first 7 minutes of the game. Nobody is emerging too quickly other than that, wow, we've been to the free throw line a lot of times. 10 free throw attempts already, and they haven't even had one yet. Fouls are 6-1 in favor of us. That was actually the first game of the season when we lost. That was the real struggle, was we only ended up with our opponent committing 3 fouls for the entire game. Alright, so here we are approaching halftime, and it's not comfortable, but we are starting to pull ahead slightly. Oh, three-pointer at the buzzer to end the first half. Stretches that lead out a little bit. We are up by 10 now for the first time this game, and we have definitely gone on a run to start the second half. Starting to check in on the player stats. Marcus Lowe and Marcus Lowe is at 14 points. Let's see who else was. Clifton Jennings and Aki Collins also adding 12, but 5 turnovers. Not a great performance there. But we have really stretched this lead out here in the second half. They kept it close for a half, but we're really showing our strength. We're ahead in pretty much every stat category. And those fouls balance themselves out here by the end of the game. Game's just about done, and we have pulled off a comfortable 86-70 victory. Marcus Lowe with 19 points, 6 boards. Clifton Jennings added 16. Isaac Kidd brought in 14 points. All right, so that brought the team to 12-4 on the season, 4-1 in conference. We are on the road at Savannah State next, but there's a pretty decent chance that we could actually win that game. It seems to be those lower teams we've been taken care of pretty well on the road. We're about 500 on the road, and then perfect at home, which is the reason for our record the way it is. And the Savannah State team looks beatable at just 4-12. And sure enough, we go to 13-4, 5-1 in the conference now. So we continue to look good early in the season. We might get back-to-back promotions this year and see ourselves move up yet again. Taking a look at the team stats for the first time, we are in the top 50, pretty much offensively and defensively. We're getting 73.5 points per game. We're only giving up 65.1. We're pretty strong in the assist category. We are great, getting 6.8 blocks per game. And 6 steals a game is not so good, but we are definitely forcing a lot of turnovers. 42nd in the nation. The rebounding is definitely one area we could improve on, really at both ends. We're doing horribly defensively on rebounds. And turnovers. If we protected the ball a little bit more. But that definitely comes down to team quality. You could see us starting to emerge as a pretty competitive team. 20th in the nation on blocks is a nice number. Top 55 in points home and away, or for and against, is a good stat to have for a team ranked so low as we are. All right, let's take a glance at the recruits, see if anything's going on this week. Still just an evaluation period, so I'm not going to do anything this week. So we're going to get right into our next two games. We've got South Dakota at home. They are just 8-9. So we should come out on top here, but it's not a given. They're a decent team sitting at about 500. While I could certainly see us losing at some point at home this season, I would think it would be to a team that would be far better than 500. But at 5-1, now 6-1, yeah, we did get it. Okay, Alamo Heights 8-10. This is one of those close calls. This will be a challenge. They're not a very good team. We are certainly the better team, but we are on the road, so that should balance it out a bit. It's not the end of the world if we lose here, but it would certainly be a strong showing if we go 7-1 in conference at this point. I would have to take a look at the standings to see where we're at, but we would certainly be at or near the top. And we do. We are now 15-4 on the season, 7-1 in conference. We are having a fantastic season right now. And look, a sure bet to lock in one of those 4 top places and promotion up to the next level. So you can see here's how the rebalancing works. It is labeled by letter and conference use, the 22nd of 23 divisions. So it looks like we've got a good chance of playing in Conference T next year. Let's take a look at the standings, and sure enough, there we are. Abilene Christian and us are on top. We beat Abilene Christian at home those first 4 games before I went live of the conference schedule. We had 3 of them on the road. The only home game was Abilene Christian. We've been pretty neck and neck with this team the last few years. They've been one of the tougher ones around. And, oh, look at that. I believe the SATs have struck. We'll take a look at our mail here in a moment, but I think I know what that means. So next up is North Carolina Central. They are right in the middle of the league. They are 4-4, 7-12 overall, and we are at home, so I would think we should be able to grab yet another win in that game. We're going to take a look at the schedule before we jump to anything else. You can see after a 1-2 start on the year, we've only picked up 2 losses since then, 14-2 over our last 16 games. Both were on the road, with Seattle our only conference loss of the season. And let's see here. We have 3 road games left during the season. Northern Colorado is just 6-13. North Dakota, 10-9, 5-3 in conference. That's going to be a pretty tough game. Look at that RPI. It's pretty high. And then Abilene Christian, of course, who's right there on top of the league with us. So from that, I would predict that there's a good chance we're going to lose 2 more games over the rest of the season. But I like our odds against these other games. Cal Davis won't be easy. Knoxville's doing pretty good too. They're going to be tough. But the rest of those games are definitely winnable. We could have as many as 4 losses the rest of the way and how many games do we have left to play? Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8 games left to play. So at worst, I'd say we'd be 4-4. More likely, I'd say we'd be 6-2. And that fits pretty close to our profile of where we're at so far at 7-1, halfway through the conference schedule. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump to home and let's see the bad news. Okay, let's get past the scouting reports first. We'll take a look at this one. Player of the Year, Kansas Jayhawks. Power forward Sam Fox is the favorite. And Winston-Salem, is that North Carolina? Alrighty, and here we go. Recruit, Robert Armstrong. Coach, I'm sorry to inform you that while Robert Armstrong has met the minimum test score to qualify to play college basketball, he has not met the minimum score we require at our school. The school has revoked his scholarship offer. Alright, well, sad day, but not terribly sad. Chad Williams is definitely a better recruit than Robert Armstrong was. He was the first one to sign for us. And as things went on, I definitely noticed that he wasn't as strong as he could have been. So it's not the end of the world, but the one downside is that we don't have a lot of money left to spend on recruiting. And so we don't have much room for error to get 2 more guys in here. Looking at the Conference U leaders, Isaac Kidd is second in the conference in scoring. Aki Collins leads the conference in assists. And Isaac Kidd is 5th in blocks per game, which means we must have a pretty balanced if we are 20th in the nation in blocks, but we only have one guy at 5th, which means I got quite a few players on the team that are accumulating some blocks. All right, so we've got Williams coming in. Again, outstanding recruit. And Feltz right there with him. Both of these guys are really, really good. Marcelo Lee, hey, we have moved up to 3rd on his list now. So that is a good sign. But his SAT score, I think that's below. I believe our requirement is 960. Minimum SAT score is 960 for our school. So going back into the recruiting here, Marcelo Lee does not qualify. So we need to revoke the offer for him as well. And in addition to that, Armstrong doesn't qualify, which we knew. That's the recruit we just lost. But Minton doesn't qualify. Okay, 3 guys. So we just lost 3 potential recruits for next year. So Marcelo Lee, we've got to revoke that scholarship. And then Montgomery just qualifies. Armstrong does not, so we got to take him off our list. He's gone. And Trey Minton also gone. Okay, and let's update our list now and see where we're at. So this list just got a whole lot shorter with 2 scholarships still to hand out and only $2,000 left in the budget. It's going to be tight. I got 4 players with a B overall, and Gordon is one of them. So I think we're going to be offering Gordon a scholarship. Williams and Feltz, who are going to be playing for us next year, are among the Bs that are left. Hazelton, he might just earn himself a scholarship offer here. I'll have to compare him pretty closely to Montgomery. Montgomery barely qualifies for our school, and is only a C overall, and is a lot of C's as you look across the line there on his rating. So I might end up offering to Hazleton and bringing him in, which he'd be coming in as a freshman, and he's definitely a step up from Armstrong. And look at all those B's, B, 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 A, B. Not so great on defense, but offensively, wow, look at that. He's a capable player. Uh, 5.7 rebounds per game at the high school level. 1.9 steals, 2.2 blocks, so I might just go for the best guys available. Gordon's a sure thing. I think, anyway, over Earl. They're both academically strong. Gordon's a better scorer, but Earl's a better handler. Gordon can shoot inside or outside, which is something that I've set my team up for. But Earl's a really good defender. A much better defender. Wow. And that's something I like. And I'm already bringing in a couple scorers. So maybe I want a strong defender beside him. So Hazleton and Earl, I think, are going to get the offer. Top 4 guys, technically. And Gordon will be our fallback if either one of them doesn't sign. I'm going to go ahead and set up an offer for both of them. So we are 6th on the list for Earl, and we are on the top of the list for Hazleton. He's a local kid out of Portland. So is Earl. And if we can't get Earl, Montgomery's waiting in the wings. And so is Michael Gordon. But Michael Gordon's not too high on the list. But he certainly is recruitable. I mean, those are our strengths, academics and location. Local kids, so. Alright, it's been a while since I have watched film on any of these guys, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm not going to scout anybody live, though. Down to just 9 players on my entire list now, and 2 of them have already signed for us. Alright, back to the season. North Carolina Central up next. Alright, this first game should be a win. Not a terribly strong team that we're facing. We just reached the end of January, so it's going to take a second to save there. Wow, hey, we've got an RPI inside the top 100. I think that might be the highest I've seen us, at least this late in the season. We did get that win. We are 16-4, 8-1 now in conference, and next up is Northern Colorado on the road. They are just 6-14. No guarantees, but that's a winnable game for us. But anytime we play on the road can result in a loss. And it surely did. So Northern Colorado does pull off least a bit of an upset. Again, we were on the road, so there's no guarantees of any sort whatsoever, but we did lose that game, and it looks like we just picked up Teddy Hazelton. All right, so Teddy Hazelton, he just made his decision and has chosen our school. One of these guys, Hazelton's probably going to end up redshirting. There's a really good chance of that with Chad Williams coming in as a JC transfer as a junior. So there's an extremely good chance that I will redshirt Hazelton next year. And then there's only 1 year where they're both out there on the court, and one of them might be doubling down. Like Hazelton might be playing part of his time at small forward or at point guard. All right, next up is Cal Davis at home. Pretty decent team, and coming off of a loss, you never know what might happen. Okay, we're still just in evaluation. There is some change here. My 4 Bs are now just 3. And Feltz is one of them. So Feltz, for the first time all season, his rating has dipped to a C. And it's defense. Yikes. Defense is not very strong anymore. So our newest evaluation of Feltz has dropped him down a bit. Okay, so just evaluation. There's nothing really to check out there. Let's see. After that loss, we dropped to 3rd place in the conference. Just 1 game back, though, tied for 2nd. We've got 1 scholarship left to go. And it's dangling out there, so we'll see. We're going to sim through this week's games. We are approaching the end of the season, but we still got a little ways to go. Okay, we got the win there. Now we're on the road at North Dakota, 11-11. This was one of those games that I predicted to be potentially one of the losses down the stretch here. I was saying we could be 4-4 during that stretch, or if we do well, 6-2. Right now, I'd say we might end up 5-3 over the stretch, as this was one of those tougher games. But we do get the win, so we go back on track for a 6-2 record down the stretch. We are now 10-2 in conference, 18-5 on the season. Could we see a 20-win season? We've got a shot. Next up is Knoxville. They are 14-9. This is going to be a challenging game coming up, even though it is at home. Knoxville is just behind us, 1 game back now. They are 3rd, we are 2nd in conference. Again, the top 3 are automatically promoted to the next division, and then I think the conference winner is the 4th automatic bid. We are still perfect, 11-0 at home, and Knoxville is just 6-7 on the road. So we got a good shot in this game of locking down a top 2 finish. Let's check the recruiting, still evaluation. So let's go ahead and sim through the week. As we approach the end of the season, we're running low on time for this episode, and we have not yet reached the conference tournament. And we still have one scholarship hanging out there. So a lot to do, and not a lot of time left to do it in. It's possible we might stretch to one more episode for this season if we can't yet get there. Let's see what happens in this game with Knoxville, though. And they get the win. So we get our first home loss of the year. Despite our progress this season, we are far from perfect. And it definitely showed there as we do lose at home. With Northwest DC coming up next, I would think we should be favorites to win this game. Oh no, we lose back-to-back games, both at home. Are you kidding me? Okay, so things are suddenly falling off for the team, and we have 2 straight losses. Yikes. We lost by 2 to Knoxville and by 20 to Northwest DC. Birmingham, they're 8-6 in conference. No guarantee. We have to win that game. And then we've got Abilene Christian on the road. So we could be slipping out of the top 3. And speaking of, how far have we slipped already? We're at a 3-way tie for second in conference right now. And Knoxville beat us head-to-head. Seattle beat us head-to-head. So I would think they would both have the tiebreaker over us, even though we are 18-7 on the season over both of them being at 15-10. They don't care one bit about your overall record in conference play. All right, well, so Birmingham, definite must win, and it looks like we might have to pull off the upset at Abilene Christian now as well, or we're going to be faced with a must-win in the conference tournament in order to earn promotion this year. So close, comfortably in the top 2, and just like that, 2 quick home losses, and we might face another year in Conference U. Okay, let's take a quick look. Still evaluation. That budget is getting quite low, so I'm not going to do anything this week. Okay, we don't have time to watch these games. We need to get into the conference tournament. All right, must win Birmingham. They're just 9-16, so heavy favorites, but coming off 2 straight losses, can the team bounce back with a win? And we do. But here's the real test. Abilene Christian on the road, a team that has had our number throughout this playthrough. They are 1 game better than us on the overall, and they are, 2-3 games better in the conference. They are going to win the conference this year, regardless of what happens in this game. This would be a nice victory for us, but I don't know if we're going to be able to pull it off. I think we're going to come up just short. Oh no, we got the win! Awesome. Okay, so we beat Abilene Christian on the road to go to match them. We're both at 20-7 with that, as they were 20-6 going into the game. They still won the conference, but let's take a look at the standings now. It looks like they actually lost 2 in a row to end the season because they had been, well, maybe not. And Knoxville did lose one of those 2 final games. So we are in the top 3 to round out the season. We will be promoted this year. So after Knoxville knocked us off at home, and then the shock loss in the game following that, we rebound to win the final two, and a tough Abilene Christian team on the road with only their second loss of the year. Look at that. Identical records. And our RPI is pretty close as well. But theirs just a little bit better. One game better in conference. But we've done enough. We will be promoted for next season. Now let's see if we can't have a quick run in the playoffs. So taking a look at the schedule. We don't know who we're up against just yet, huh? March 2nd. Taking a look at our recruits, still just evaluation. So let's get to it. Let's go day by day here. Only got just a few minutes left here, so I'd like to see. We're not going to be able to sim any more games, at least not live games. We're going to have to try to push through. All right, yeah, so this is why we have the TBD, because we have a first round bye. And we'll find out our opponent here in a moment. Northern Colorado. That's the team that upset us, isn't it? No, Northwest DC. No, there you go. Northern Colorado. On the road, we lost 71-77. That was that surprise loss when we turned around and beat the tougher North Dakota. All right, taking a look at recruiting, still just evaluation. We're down to 1,700, but it's been a while, so we do want to watch some film on these guys, spend a little bit of that budget. As you've noticed, it has changed, even just within this episode. Again, as Feltz dropped from a B to a C. All right, so we've got Northern Colorado here in round 2 of the Conference U tournament.
You have new mail.
And we got the win. We go to 21-7 on the season. And next up is Northwest DC really? On the road? They better call it a neutral site, because obviously we're the higher ranked team. In fact, look at that. This is what's left. We've got a good chance of winning the tournament here. But they see us as a road team. If that's the case, we could face that penalty for playing on the road.
You have new.
But we get the win. We're at 22-7 now. And here we are, North Dakota. Again, seen as road. Let's go ahead and watch the game. We'll sim it pretty fast. Conference title on the line. And here we go. Alright, we get off to the quick start. It's on the board first. Something that over the last few years hasn't always been the case. There's been plenty of games where we get down 6, 8, 10 nothing starting out, and then play catch up from there on out. This time wasn't the case, but we did go cold there for a little while, giving North Dakota the lead. It's tied at 17 halfway through the first half. got ourselves a game. Isaac Kidd, though, is absolutely on fire with 12 points already. Clifton Jennings is added 9 to that total. But as we approach halftime, we're the team that is playing from behind here. As we're down 35-30 at the half. And we're down just a few points, but we have definitely been playing behind here throughout the later part of the first half and now in the second half. About to use our first timeout before things get out of hand there. There we go. So down 7, we used a 30-second timeout. Slow time down here as we get into the final minutes. And, oh man, we are starting to get way behind here. Let's use that full timeout. We are down 12 with 7 minutes to play. Again, they call this a road game for us. And I don't know if in tournament, if they count that home advantage or not. But if they do, it's definitely punishing us here today. It looks like North Dakota is actually going to end up winning the conference tournament, and we might have tournament play with a solid 22-win season, but it's definitely not going to be the NCAAs without a win here. Alright, and it's out of reach. 3 minutes to go, and we are down big. Last time out. And they continue to score. We didn't shut them down at all down the stretch. We lose 73-59. Congratulations, North Dakota, on your title. Isaac Kidd had 19. Clifton Jennings had 15 for the game. And we got beat handily there in the second half. But regardless, without the title, that's okay. We will still see promotion, as we did get one of the automatic spots this year. It looks like North Dakota is going to be the other team going up, along with Abilene Christian, Seattle U, and ourselves. So we're going to keep facing those same teams. And let's finish the week. Or have I gotten past the week? Apparently I've gotten past the week. Let's try to stop the simulation. There we go. Our RPI did jump to 71st. Okay, it's all scouting reports. Players declaring. Nobody. Norton finalists. Sam Fox still on top. Okay. Take a look at recruiting. It's still just evaluation this week. And that budget is so close to gone. Gotta be careful, especially with one guy left to go. Okay, so let's finish simming the week. Okay, it looks like we're going into one more week to get the selection Sunday. Is probably going to be at the end of this week.
You have new mail.
Ah, there you go. Selection show. Let's see. We're not going to be selected, so we will skip the show. I don't have time for it either. We are already over time on this episode.
You have new mail.
Let's see here. I have new mail, you said. I don't see any new mail. Alright, we have no next opponent. So it looks like we did not get any tournament bid. Abilene Christian made the NIT tournament. Ah, there you go. Okay. We are in the NIT as well. So we've got Virginia Tech 15 and 13 on the year. And we are home for that game, so we've got ourselves a shot. Seattle's in the CIT tournament, so we got to a higher bid than they did. No time to watch, though. Let's see what happens. See if we can't continue our season a little bit longer. And no, Virginia Tech gets the win. We drop to 22-9. That's the end of the season, and that's also going to be the end of this episode. You're going to have to wait to see next episode to see what happens with our final recruit, as we are still one short of a completed recruiting class. But that does it for this episode and this season. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe, and tune in next time on my road to the record. Bye for now.